A very good evening to all of you friends. A very good evening to all of you. On behalf of BYJU'S Exam Prep, the most comprehensive preparation app for all exams, I, Shurojit Bhaduri, welcome each and every one of you for today's live session on previous year's question discussion on legal reasoning part 2. A very warm and a hearty welcome to each and every one of you friends. So friends, today we are going to look at some of the most important questions that came in CLAT 2020. In the previous session on our YouTube platform, you will find some discussion of these questions, but we could not finish the entire session. So this is part 2. The remaining classes will take place one after the other. So welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. In today's session, we shall be discussing CLAT 2020, the questions that came, part 2. But before that, BYJU'S Exam Prep brings to you Prepare for Success this spring. If you are preparing for success, BYJU'S Exam Prep comes up with this flat 20% discount on your online classroom program. For CLAT, A-Lit, B-Lit, Jamia and other host of examination like Maharashtra CET, BYJU'S Exam Prep brings to you live courses and mock test. Use the code SPRING20 and get a flat 20% discount, on your online classroom program. Am I clear? Just use the code SPRING20 and avail this fantastic benefit of a flat 20% discount on your online classroom program. BYJU'S Exam Prep brings to you CLAT Marathon. English at 10 a.m., legal reasoning at 2 p.m. and GK and current affairs at 12 p.m. only on our app. So we are conducting this mega marathon for CLAT 2022. BYJU'S Exam Prep brings to you a comprehensive preparation course along with foundation module for CLAT 2023. The course has already begun. Enroll yourself today. So guys, let's start. Up on your screen is a particular passage. Read the passage very carefully. Understand what the passage deals with, and then we shall answer certain question relating to the passage. Yeah. So guys, read the passage very carefully. This particular passage deals with the LG polymer case that took place. So you can understand, similar to the moment you think about LG polymers, the first thing that comes to your mind is strict liability or absolute liability, right? It has to come to your mind. Read it carefully. So on the 7th of May 2020, a major leakage took place in Visakhapatnam in the plastic manufacturing unit of LG Polymers. The accident took place when the cooling system of the polymer plant got clogged due to mismanagement of some of the workers. Certain poisonous gas leaked out, which is a hazardous chemical under the rules, right? Let's move on to the next slide. The next slide deals with polluters pay principle. What did the Supreme Court of India say or define as the polluters pay principle? So this principle deals with the person who damages or destroys the environment has an obligation to bear the cost of the destruction. That is what the Supreme Court has said. So the person who destroys someone's property or the environment has to pay it back. That is what the polluters pay principle deals with. Right? Moving on to the next slide. The principle of strict liability. So you know what is Ryland versus Fletcher? Wherein the courts came up with this principle called strict liability. Right? Somebody had a coal mine and his neighbor had a huge water reservoir. Water escaped from the reservoir into the coal mine and destroyed the coal mine, right? Those of you who know it. So, having little bit of previous knowledge of law is going to help you in a big way, guys. Okay, moving on to the next slide, guys. Moving on to the next slide. The principle of absolute liability. Must have heard about the Bhopal gas leak tragedy, the oleum gas leak case in India that happened, which laid the foundation of the principle of absolute liability. Are we done? Are we done? Okay. Question number 10 is up there on your screen. Under which of the following principle will the company LG Polymers be held liable? Will it be held liable under the polluters pay principle, under strict liability, under absolute liability, or option D, all of the above? Let me see. Please give me your answers. Will LG Polymers be held liable under the polluters pay principle, strict liability, absolute liability, or all of the above? Okay, I'm getting answers. People are saying absolute liability. Okay. Why not polluters pay principle? Did it not pollute the environment? Did it not pollute the environment? Polluters pay principle? They have polluted the environment. Why not strict liability also? Why not strict liability also? The correct answer is all of the above. All of the above. This was a kind of a googly. Do not think only absolute liability. Absolute liability definitely polluters pay principle. When both are correct, how can you say not strict liability also? All three. Is that clear? Okay. Question number 11. As per the polluters pay principle, according to the polluters pay principle, LG Polymers will be liable to pay which of the following? Amount of money for the restoration of the environment only, amount of money for the restoration of environment, and compensation to individuals who have suffered. And compensation to the individuals, or just compensation to the victim, as option C says, or none of the above. The correct answer, most of you have given me the correct answer. It is option B, amount of money for the restoration of the environment plus compensation to the individuals who have suffered the loss. That is what the passage deals with. Is that clear? Is that clear to all of you? So guys, if you are liking today's session, do press the like button. Not only press the like button, but also share this video with your friends so that they can take the benefit of these classes from BYJU'S Exam Prep. Question number 12. Now there is a chemical plant. There was an earthquake on a particular day, and one of the valves of the reactor of the plant gets damaged. There is an emission of an hazardous gas for chemical vaporization, which resulted in a gas leakage. There are 12 workers who have died, and people living nearby the plant have also suffered. which is the best option amongst the four? Is it a case of polluters pay principle? Yes, of course. There is polluters pay principle will be attracted. Will it not be a case where absolute liability principle will be attracted? Yes. But will it be a case of strict liability? Now, in strict liability, if you remember, one of the defenses is act of God. Now, earthquake happens to be an act of God. So, the strict liability principle will not be attracted. So, in strict liability, there is an exception. Act of God. In strict liability, there is an exception of called act of God. Now, this is an earthquake. It's an act of God. So, the correct answer is option B. Option B. Exempted under the rule of strict liability. But polluters pay principle and absolute liability, they will be attracted for. Is that clear? Are you understanding, guys, how to solve these questions? Question number 13. The argument of LG Polymers that they did not know that the strain gas could leak. LG Polymers argue that we never knew that this particular gas could leak from the plant. Is it a great argument? It is a weak argument. It will not help LG Polymers under any of the principles to reduce their liability. Very, very important. It is not going to help LG Polymers to reduce their liability. It's a very, very weak argument. Most of you got it right. Very good. Very, very good. Is that clear? So are you getting a hang of how to solve passage-based questions on law? Question number 14 is up there on your screen. Okay. Now this pesticide factory, this pesticide gas, is it hazardous or is it not hazardous? Is it dangerous to human life or not? It can only be adjudicated based on an inquiry. But this company will definitely be liable under polluters pay principle. So the correct answer is option C. Most of you got it right. It depends on the inquiry. It will depend on the inquiry. Very good, Muskan Banu and others. Most of you have given me the right answer. Moving on to the next set of passage for question number 15 to question number 19. Okay, are we done? Are we done? This passage deals with the principle of natural justice, natural law. What is natural justice? That is what is to be understood. Here the other side, nemo judex in causa sua, nobody should be a judge in his own cause, and a judgment must be a reasoned judgment. A judgment without a reason is void in the eyes of law, is not valid. A judge cannot say, I agree with A or I agree with B. He has to give reasons why he has come to a particular conclusion. You have to give proper hearing to both the sides. A judge cannot hear one party and give a judgment. He has to hear both the sides. He cannot be biased. Okay? Question number 15. Nemo judex in causa sua. That is what I said. No one can be a judge in his own cause. Suppose I become a judge. Can I decide a case in which my son is involved? There will always be a question about whether I am biased or not. Whether I am biased or not. So, nemo judex in causa sua, which means no one can be a judge in his own cause, relates to the rule of bias. Am I clear? All of you. Each and every one of you. Is it clear? So are you understanding how to solve these questions, guys? These questions are not difficult. You just think that, sir, passage based question, oh, how do I solve it? नहीं, आसान है. ठीक है? चलो, moving on to question number 16. Now, here is a person who is heading the internal complaints committee of a sexual harassment at workplace. Now, the allegation is against the husband. Can the wife sit as a judge and decide a dispute between the husband and another woman? Tell me. It is a case of personal bias. It is a case of personal bias. How can the wife decide a case of sexual harassment against the husband? So it is not difficult. See, the question might look lengthy. लंबा चौड़ा क्वेश्चन मिलेगा आपको, उतना दिक्कत वाला बात नहीं है सॉल्व करने के लिए. ठीक है. क्वेश्चन नंबर 17. Tell me what is the correct answer. Tell me what is the correct answer. Now, there are two capacity. Now, suppose a particular judge is there. Does it mean that he is always a judge? Of course, he is a judge. But does not he have his own personal? A judge can also own a piece of land. He can also rent out a piece of land. Right? So do not get confused between his official capacity and his personal capacity as a landlord. So the correct answer is option D. Option D is the correct answer. Okay. Question number 18. Which of the following is not a violation of the principles of natural justice? Withholding an increment of a public servant without giving him opportunity to be defended? No. Non-renewal of a contract of employment of an employee after the period is over? Okay. Initiating of a departmental inquiry against a public servant without giving him an opportunity to submit his representation. This is violation of principles of natural justice. B is not. So the correct answer is option B. The correct answer is option B. Is that clear to each and every one of you? Question number 19. Which of the following is true based on your understanding of the passage that you have read? The correct answer is that the principle of natural justice is incomplete unless and until you follow the rules Audi alter partem, nemo judex in causa sua, and a reasoned judgment. These are the three rules of principles of natural justice. So, unless these three rules are adhered to, you cannot say that principles of natural justice has been complied with. Am I clear to each and every one of you? Am I clear? Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. So guys, how was today's class? Did you enjoy today's class? Tell me, did you all enjoy today's session? Okay, I hope you have. Thank you, thank you. Fantastic. Okay, so friends, with this, before we conclude, here are the important notification from BYJU'S Exam Prep. BYJU'S Exam Prep brings to you an express course for Maharashtra CET, A-Lit, CLAT, B-Lit and Jamia LLB 2022. Enroll yourself for this course if you are preparing for any of these exams for the year 2022. BYJU'S Exam Prep also brings to you a crash course for CLAT 2022. Start your free trial today. BYJU'S Exam Prep also brings to you a booster course on legal affairs and current events for CLAT 2022. In this course, you get Build CLAT 2022 concepts for legal affairs, current events and static GK from scratch for beginners, expert guidance by NLU alumni until the day of your exam, progress assessment test to gauge your performance at regular interval, and highly interactive doubt clearing session. So friends, with this we come to the end of today's session. Thank you very much for joining this session. Do like this session. Do share this session with your friends and others who are also preparing for CLAT and other law entrance examination. Thank you very much. God bless you. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye-bye. Take care. Have a great weekend. Thank you.